So we're going to try and do a quick recap here. This is the body we started with. This was a one owner 1993 Jeep YJ. The frame we cut up, that's already going to scrap now. So this is our basically our finished product. So this was a bare bones, very stripped down Jeep that we started with, that one owner. Had the steel wheels, manual steering, 4-cylinder. It didn't even have rear seat belts or a rear seat. And you can look in. I can look inside that roll bar and that other body, and tell that it's never had anything bolted into the seat belt bolt holes on the roll bar. So we did the lightning gray bully liner, spray and bed liner. So it looks pretty nice. We'll see how well this holds up to shoes and feet. We did painted the footman loops, put them back in the floor, in the 4 spots. We did install a factory sound bar. We picked up a factory console. We found them both in a junkyard. So the factory, we don't have the roll bar padding to cover this part of the roll bar. It's the only reason really that we painted this whole section. I like the way it looks, but I'm pretty sure it's going to get chipped real bad. People's feet getting in and out on this side. So we are still probably going to put padding in if we come across some used padding that's good. But what I wanted to show you is the wiring harness comes down, goes underneath, and there's actually, just like on the driver's side, there's metal clips under here. Now this body is newer than 93 because this body actually had a third brake light. But we didn't have the harness, so we didn't bother using the third brake light because we used the harness out of the 93. So when you come up here, there's a hole here, there's a hole up top here for these harness retainers to hold it. And then there's actually a factory plug up here that the factory soundbar plugs into. And then it's got a metal clip on it, just clips right to the lip on the inside of the dash. You've also got this pink wire, which I have to wire still. I'm sure that's probably for the lights up top. I just haven't gotten around to it. So there's all your bed linered floor. Now I did this with a pretty rough texture because I wanted it to sort of look like gray carpeting being in here. So I think it came out pretty good. You definitely have to leave this stuff sit at least the full 72 hours. You also need to be very aggressive with sanding the paint that you're spraying over, in my opinion. They say just use, I think, a green Scotch-Brite. I think you need to be more aggressive than that because some of this, we didn't wait the full 72. We were almost at the 72 or 76 hours. And I went to put the seat in. Some of this, it scraped it and it ripped it right off down to the paint. I touched it up. You can't tell because the stuff touches up easy. Not a big deal. But time will tell, I guess, how bad this gray is going to stain with people's shoes. And if this stuff is actually going to be durable or if it's going to get ripped off from foot traffic. So these are bags that came with the donor Jeep, I guess you'll call it, the 93 that was one owner. These are bags that you're supposed to roll your windows up and put them in. So that was nice that they were there. The tailgate this tailgate is from the newer vehicle. We didn't use the 93 tailgate. I don't know why, we just didn't. So this hole here, these holes, and these 2 holes in the body, that's all for the third brake light that we didn't use. We'll just put a plug in this hole. I don't know what we're going to do with these. These are actually plugs that came off of the bad windshield frame that came with this body. So when you look at your windshield frame, there's actually, right here, you see where it is in relation to the roll bar. There's actually a little metal plug there, you can pop it out. I don't know what the purpose of that plug is. Probably some type of assembly thing for the manufacturer, but it fits perfect in those holes. They are metal, you can paint them. So that's what we did. And if we decide we don't like the blue, eventually I can always go back with some of this bed liner I have left over, and with an acid brush and just dab at it, and it'll blend it right in. Now a lot of these, I know a lot of this stuff we were hoping to put just a small piece of tape over these holes. Like these we could have put seam sealer in, I just didn't. But I was hoping to be able to put a small piece of tape over these holes, because a lot of your more commercial spray-in liners, like Rhino Liner, you can tape over a hole like that and spray over it with the bed liner, and it just disappears. You never even know it's there. The hitch, this is like a 90s hitch. It was a tube bumper that came with this frame. The tube bumper was completely destroyed, just from rust, like they always are. So what we did was we took and cut the brackets off for the tube bumper, ground it all nice and smooth, repainted it, and now we have a hitch. These hitches, even though it's a full-size receiver hitch, I've tried towing stuff with these Jeeps over the years. Anything that's heavier than like an old school Wave Runner, those old one-person Wave Runners, is really, anything more than that is really too much, because these things are so light. When you go to stop, it'll push the vehicle. I've had tires lock up, brakes lock up, and it just pushes it from the weight. But your mileage may vary. Maybe you like towing giant things that are super heavy behind a little vehicle that's basically a glorified go-kart. This is the original top. It came off the 93. So it sat out in the sun for, God, I don't even know how long. This was a new top. These were brand new tires. The guy retired. He put a new top on it. He put new tires on it and left it sit in his yard. And he never drove it again. He just parked it. So the top is like crazy shrunk. The windows are trash. We do have the frames. So we do have at least the upper frames for the doors. At some point I'll just buy another top and put on. For right now, it's sitting in the garage anyway. So this is just basically a glorified bikini top at this point, until we get around to putting a new top on here. Walking around, these were cheap stainless off of Amazon. The radiator, we had bought the super cheap one. The original one leaked up top. We bought a super cheap replacement. It didn't have these welded nuts for the shroud. It's not a big deal, but I put it in. I start putting fluid in it. The fluid pours right out the bottom. There was a defective seal in the bottom bowl. That went back. This was the next price up, which was still cheap, and this one's perfect. So the battery, no, I did not buy a blue battery because I have a blue Jeep. I got that battery because, in case you didn't know, if you go to like Advance Auto and a battery has been on their shelf for 6 months or more, it's considered used or out of date and should be sent back to the manufacturer. That's what they are supposed to do by their manual, their operating manual. Now, they don't do that, but if you know somebody that works there, you know a manager, or you know you have a good relationship with the people that work in the store, and they have a battery that will fit your vehicle, that is dated more than 6 months, they can, since you're supposed to send it back, they can sell it to you as a used battery. And when they sell it to you as a used battery, this is like a, I don't know, like a $300 battery, something like that. $60. You only get a 90-day warranty with it. Guarantee it's going to last more than 90 days. What you do need to do though is, if you buy one of these batteries cheap, it doesn't matter if it's, you know, this is an AGM, a wet cell, whatever. They're going to be low, a little bit low in voltage from sitting on the shelf for so long. So what you need to do is you need to not install it. You need to take it home and put it on a trickle charger, maintainer charger, whatever. Leave it go overnight, whatever. That way it is 100% fully charged before you stick it in and start using it. This one was low. They showed me it was low on voltage. It was lower than it was supposed to be. Not a big deal. I brought it home. I have an AGM charger. You need to use an AGM charger on an AGM battery. Charged it up overnight. It's been perfect. This was like 6 or 7 months old, this battery. And the donor Jeep, the 93, it had an old school Ramsey winch on here, like an 8,000 pound, the ones they used on the Jurassic Park Jeeps. So I was up in the air whether I was going to use it or not. So this Marine battery actually has screw-on terminals too, which I figured, well, you know what, I could always use that for the winch if we install it. We decided not to because, number one, we have manual steering right now, which may get changed to power steering once we start driving this. And number two, I've had vehicles with winches on the front. These lighter vehicles, it makes the handling bad, in my opinion. It makes the stopping pretty bad. And when you're driving in bad weather, you know, rain or snow or whatever, the vehicle's already front heavy because of the engine. You put that winch on there, I mean, you've got some of those winches, you've got 50 pounds of steel cable on those winches, plus the weight of the winch. Even if you take and put a synthetic line on there, it's still a lot of weight on the front of this lightweight little vehicle. And we're not going to wheel this. We're not going to do anything crazy with it. This is just to drive around, have fun in. These tires are slightly larger than stock. We got stock suspension. You know, we did all the bushings. If you watch the videos, so that's pretty much where we're at. At some point, I do plan on changing these out and getting the factory running board flares that basically go all the way back to here. And they've got a step on them. I like the way they look, and also it protect the side of the rocker panel a little bit from people's feet getting in and out. Plus, I wanted to build this as an Islander, even though it's not an Islander. It's a tribute, a clone, whatever you want to call it. But building it as an Islander. At some point, I want to put the decal package on here from the factory style decals. It's a bunch of black pinstripes that run down the side. There's like a double sunset that goes on the door, and then the raised part in the center of the hood, same decal. It's like black horizon lines with a sun or double sun or something. You know, it was a 80s, 90s thing. So I think that'll complete the look that I'm going for with this vehicle. Eventually, we're probably also going to end up changing out this hinge. I'll have to find a mirror in the junkyard, and we'll have to get the hinge too, because this hinge is not drilled for a mirror. That also, I guess, denotes how cheap the vehicle was that this guy gave us. So it had no rear seat belts, no passenger mirror. It was a non-radio vehicle. It did not have a hole for a radio, the antenna, manual steering, 4-cylinder, steel wheels. I don't think you can get much cheaper than that as far as being a fully stripped down vehicle for 1993. But that is where we're at right now. Like I said, we're pretty much done. There's a couple little things here and there that we're going to do. If you have any questions about what we did in the just leave it in the comments section. I'll do my best to answer it. There's a lot of stuff on the page. Look around the page. There might be something else that interests you. If you wanna see, what we end up doing next, as far as another project or something like that, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.